Good afternoon, sir. My name is Aniket Kale. In an introduction, we are making kids study is a very hard task, as we all know. So we are aware that even more in the pandemic, we all know that it is very hard to make our kids study, and because of the online schooling, COVID has made schooling our schooling is online, which seems to be a nightmare for parents and teachers. Like children can't focus and they can't easily they get easily distracted while studying. And the main cause for this kind of distraction is as we all know that smartphones and laptops, as they all because of the online studies, these are things which are easily accessible for the students, and like on the devices like games and YouTube. So memorization isn't always useful for some children. They can't memorize the lesson just by reading, so they might need to visualize the concept and remember it properly. And this visualization is not a very optimal approach, as we can say, if we use only static images for the students. So in the motivation of this project, interactive learning adds the richness and meaning to the information present with the use of more than one medium, and it helps the learner to understand the concept with better visualization. So as well, and it is very flexible, and it helps to creating a student in a creating a centric environment for the students. And interactive learning in my case is more robust and can be updated easily, whereas no, if you compare it with non-interactive learning, it follows the fixed pattern only, which is the static images, and getting it's not interactive case. So contents such as text, moving images, animations, videos, which are available and usually considered as usual learning. But based on the above data, uh, based on the above data, bus screen. Yes. So based on the above data, we can see that difference with regards to interact and non-interactive learning. Uh, as you can see in the slide, there is a attention, relevance, confidence, satisfaction, and overall performance of the students in the percentage. So next slide. So before saying about the current slide, I will say that the main concept of our project is are flashcards. Flashcards are one of the most popular and optimized way to learn the factual knowledge and improve the memory performance. Students of modern age who use the smart technology and mobile devices in their daily life, which everyone does, often lack of time and motivation to create and use the flashcard. In our case, use the flashcard effectively. So in the objective, I'll say that we focus on the problem of some people who face in the process of learning. So we propose a new learning system based on the augmented reality AR that overlays the digital object on top of physical cards, and captured through and which is captured through the camera and rendering them by 3D objects. So with the text note and information about that object on the mobile device. So on your mobile screen, after scanning, you will see the 3D rendered object and information about it. So we can also provide phrases and sound related to that object. Suppose if there is an animal object which is displaying on your phone screen, we can also provide it the sound of that object, so it will become more interactive and it become enhanced. So we aim to build an application which helps students to concentrate on their studies while also enjoying the process at the same time. Next slide, limitations. So there are multiple applications which are already in augmented reality for education, but they don't have that much interaction with student that needs to keep them engaged and interested in the current topic. So for the student, it quickly becomes boring, and seeing the static animation again and again, it student get easily distracted and they don't want to see the same thing again and again. So this leads to distraction. And yes, from the next slide, Abbas will take further. Yes, Abbas.
Yeah, so I'll continue. So this is a basic flowchart of our system. So when we start an app, okay, we have a specified QR codes or markers as we call it. So we can scan those markers and the system will check if the marker is valid or not. And if it's valid, it will render the 3D object which we have imported into the application, and it will render it. Once the object is rendered, it will also load the animations and the audio and different quizzes if we are implementing in that fashion. It will load everything and it will be just like waiting for the students to use those features. So we have these different modules in our system. So I'll try to explain in short. So the first module is marker. So marker is basically a unique image in the system. It can be a QR code or barcode. It can be even a normal image. So corresponding to a specific 3D object in the application, when the marker is scanned through a camera, a 3D object with all its information is it's given the next information to the next module. So our next module is image processor. So this is the part where the image is captured through camera, and then that captured image is processed, and it extracts all the features like in order to identify it as a unique image. After that, uh, once it recognizes that the image is a part of the system, it gives it gives that extracted features to the next module. Uh, that is a marker recognition. This module checks if the features extracted are exist in database or not, and it also checks whether the 3D model is present or not, which is associated with this marker. Now the next module is model renderer. After receiving the data from the past marker recognition, the model which is to be rendered on the screen is fetched, and it is then rendered with its animations and sounds. The event manager, this is a simple module which ensures that if any event is carried out in the application, it is not missed. This event could be an click of a button or submitting answers for the quiz. So it is a pretty simple module, the event manager. The next is the basic block diagram of how the data is transferred. So we scan the marker now from the image module, and it then, if it recognizes, like if it checks that the marker is clearly visible, then it sends that to the marker recognition, for which we have used the Vuforia SDK in order to recognize, extract the features, in order to extract the features from the image. Once that image is recognized, the object is rendered, as I mentioned in the previous slide, and with event manager. The event manager again is attached to each individual object separately. Now, these are some snippets from our project. So as you can see, we have scanned a QR code, and the 3D object, which is in this case is Spiranosaurus, is rendered. With this, as you can also see, there is some information regarding that. The animation is being played while the object is scanned. Uh, since it's an image, we cannot show it here properly, but the dinosaur is animated. You can also play the sound of the dinosaur, and we can take a quiz as well after reading the info. So this is, as you can see, there's a simple quiz based on the info, and once the correct answer for this is actually North Africa, but since it's selected Japan, it's showing wrong. And the similar is the case with this, where now this is an object which may not have a proper animation. So in this case, this is a planet. The planet does not have an animation, so it just rotates on its axis, and it might not even have a sound. So this is how we can represent that object. And again, this is now an example of correct answer which is selected. So yeah, this is our project. So thus we aim to improve the learning process of students by implementing the interactive learning platform, which helps to engage the students and thereby enhancing the education. And these are the main references which we have used. And thank you very much.
Okay, Abbas. Have you
Yes.
made any analysis that how many percentage of students are not getting the knowledge or cannot getting the things on the online, and they need the offline kind of or the animated kind of learning teaching methodology?
So, sir,
Any
this
analysis
is
done by
not.
your end?
So we have read some research papers, which they conducted the research that if students actually get help, actually perform better if they use interactive learning method. And there was a conclusion that in most cases, it improves the performance. It may not be at the wide margin, but it definitely improves the performance compared to traditional courses, traditional methods.
Okay, okay, Abbas.
Thank you.
Any panelists, any questions? Dr. Harsha ma'am?
Yes, good afternoon, sir. Abbas, I want to know, you have not given which software, which hardware, what you are used, which platform you have
So
used for this one.
So for implementation purposes, in order to make it easier to implement and to avoid the simple errors, we are using Unity engine, which is a 3D game engine. So
Okay,
for those 3D implementation purposes, we are using Unity engine, and in that we are using C# as a language to add additional functionalities.
okay, to design the forms and all. And have you
Yeah.
collected the data, or you can also do one thing for the small children. If you are doing this project for the small children, you could have been collecting the information from the parents. You can design one Google form. You can send it to your groups. At least 10 to 15 groups you might have in your groups WhatsApp group. अगर
Yeah.
एक पे भी अगर तुम भेजते हो, all the parents can send their details of their children, isn't it? So you could
Yeah.
have been a good Excel sheet with the data, so you can analyze
Yeah,
from
that's
that, isn't it? Okay.
so. Yeah, that's true. But for what like we had some relatives and they had
Yeah,
some children, so
that's
we
what
kind of interviewed them in short.
you
We
could
didn't
have.
make a Google form, but we did interview them in short.
Yes, so that within a fraction of a second you can collect the data from your
Yeah.
relatives, isn't it? Not with the friends. Thank you.